AITA for getting mad at my girlfriend for destroying my farm? I apologize beforehand. English is not my first language and is my first time posting. Backstory: I, 22M, and my girlfriend, 24F, have been together for 6 years. We both like video games, but I play more than her for the following reasons. She gets nauseous while playing games that have a lot of camera movement. She doesn't have a lot of time. She works about 60 hours a week. She doesn't purchase games. She has to help her family with bills. We've been wanting to play together for a long time, so I tried helping her. I gave her my Xbox a few years ago, and last year one bought her a laptop and shared my Steam account with her. But again, she hasn't been able to play because of the reasons mentioned earlier. Story: I bought a game called Stardew Valley for myself a couple of years ago, but didn't make time to play it until I realized it had multiplayer in it. So I thought it was the perfect game for us, and it is. I told her about it and she didn't think it was good because it didn't look as pretty as Animal Crossing. But as soon as we started playing, we fell in love with it. We play maybe once or twice every week for about 1 or 2 hours. I really liked the game and wanted to play longer, so a couple weeks ago I told her that I was going to create a new save file so I could play by myself, and she said sure, no problem, I'll do the same when I have time. So I did just that. I played on my save file when I was alone and played with her on our shared save file. She was available. The issue began this week. She came to my house as I was playing and she saw that I was advancing really fast and I had a lot of things already. She got angry and I told her that it had nothing to do with her farm and that I still enjoyed playing with her, and I thought that was it. Yesterday she was in my room and I went to the kitchen to make dinner. But when I came back to the room I saw that she literally destroyed my farm. My crops were gone, my animals were gone, my buildings were destroyed, and I had no money, so a lot of hours getting those things wasted. She had already saved, so I couldn't fix it. Of course it is not the end of the world, but I was really pissed, so I yelled at her. She screamed back saying that I was supposed to play with her and that I left her behind. I told her that it was not a competition and that I was just enjoying the game. I wanted to play with her and play separately on my own farm. That is why I created 2 farms. I just gave her dinner and told her to not speak to me, and we went to sleep like that. Today she apologized and told me that she wants to play, but I told her that I don't want to play with her anymore. Heck, I don't even want to play Stardew Valley anymore. AITA for getting mad and refusing to play with her anymore. I can understand her frustration because she doesn't have a lot of free time, but on the other hand, she destroyed something of mine just to hurt me. Commander-in-Chiefs, 271, Anti-A. She destroyed something of mine just to hurt me. This sums it up perfectly. She was fine with you starting your own farm. But when she realized how much further ahead you were, she got upset, which is fine. What is not fine is reacting the way she did. She wanted to hurt you, and that isn't how mature adults deal with their frustrations. It's not about getting upset about a video game. You are upset that she so deliberately attempted to sabotage something you worked on just to be vindictive and nasty. It took work too to go through each part of the game and screw up each part in little ways. So big time red flags that she'd go to those lengths just to be mean. Anti-A. My husband and I recently had a similar issue. We started playing Valiant with my siblings as a way to stay in touch, and we're really enjoying discovering the game in real time with them. But my siblings are really into researching and planning out games they play. So early on they both started their own side games and quickly outpaced the group game. My husband and I were hurt, and it sucked that it no longer felt like us discovering the world together. Now it felt like we were tagging along while my siblings flew through it, advancing super fast because they knew what to do and look for. You know what we did? We fucking talked to them, like grown-ups. Ultimately it was just a miscommunication based on the fact that we never set expectations on how to play. They both agreed to cool it with the research, and if their personal game outpaced ours, to at least avoid spoiling stuff for us. Problem solved. Hijacking top comment to mention that if she only saved the 1 day, Stardew Valley keeps a backup save for the day before playing with Steam. If you win +R and type %tape data %\Stardew Valley \saves, you should have your normal save and a backup one. Delete your original save and change the backup one to exactly what your original save was called. It'll take you back to the start of the day before yesterday. I don't know if I can do this, so please let me know if I'm not supposed to give a little update as a comment. I already posted this comment, but wanted to reply here so everyone could see it more easily. I was able to recover my farm. Part of it at least. I want to thank Pensive Gamez and a few other awesome people that helped me recover my save file. Thanks a million. Unfortunately, it seems that she saved the game more than once, so I was only able to recover my buildings, some items and some of the money. It should be enough to buy some seeds and a couple of animals to get me going, even though I lost a lot of materials too. I think I'm going to fix my farm as much as I can tonight and then take a break from the game. Now I want to focus on my girlfriend. We spoke today and she said she was sorry again and that she wanted us to cool off and talk on Sunday, which is her day off. Asshole aficionado, 17, yes, when my so introduced me to Fallout 4 and encouraged me to buy my own, then found out I had progressed further than them and was better. Do you know what they did? They praised me, and we talked about the different choices we made and why, without spoilers. That's what a healthy person does. Starting together means you learn the techniques and strategies to progress faster. Of course your second farm will be better than the first you did together. She took it way too personally and was stupid to think that lashing out would be rewarded with your positive attention. Would she destroy a child's toy because they were playing with and not her? Or is she only a bully around you? I agree, and also to the verdict TA. One thing that comes to mind is this is really about the game. You're partners for 6 years and it seems her life day-to-day is much more difficult than yours is. She works insane hours really and has no money to spend on her own. The post doesn't say a lot about your situation, but apparently you're a lot more comfortable money-wise and time-wise. Wouldn't it be time after all those years as life partners that you guys would seek more of a balance? Or don't you see her as someone you want to build your life with? I would definitely have started to support my partner at some point in those years more structurally than just giving a hand-me-down Xbox because I'd like to game with them. I'm not saying you don't do that or you're obliged to. Not at all. And maybe it's just not in the post, or if maybe it's all on her for insisting on keeping a really low-wage job whereas others with better pay would be available to her. But anyway, maybe this awful and inexcusable childish thing she did is a sign of some resentment of you floating through your life comfortably without meaningfully helping her in her struggles. I don't know enough about the situation really, but just pointing out the possibility. Good luck, op. Yeah, this kinda reminds me of the posts of people destroying others' Animal Crossing items during quarantine. It doesn't matter that it's a video game or an art piece or a garden. What matters is that someone went and deliberately, maliciously destroyed something that someone else put time, effort and care into. That's not acceptable, and not the actions of a mature adult who truly cares about the other person. Wanted to add to the top that op should read Why Does He Do That? While it is gender-specific, it's one of the best books I know of about abusive relationships and can be used with women too. She's showing some of the signs, especially the way she destroyed something of value. What she did was a concentrated effort. Participant 2, as a female who gamed with her husband years ago, I was absolutely mortified reading this post. In a million years I'd never be so vindictive. This is so much bigger than an accident or even a misunderstanding. This was intentional, deliberate sabotage out of spite for something never intended to slight her in the least. Op really needs to think long and hard about what kind of woman he is dating, especially if he ever wants kids. PC, this is seriously selfish, self-possessed behavior. Considering the sheer effort she had to put in to do this action is a whole parade of red flags all onto itself. If she's fed up with supporting her family and wearing herself out doing it, and taking it out on Op, but it is absolutely a behavior that shouldn't be accepted. I really think Op needs to take a long hard look at the relationship and see if there's any other warning signs and consider whether or not this is the kind of relationship he should be in. For real, my boyfriend has a lot more time to play games than I do. Along with a few of our friends, I can fully admit that it can be a very frustrating and alienating feeling to constantly be the last to things or get left behind in multiplayer games. I know it might not always be fair, but I would never deliberately destroy progress that they made without me. Participant 2. Exactly. What she did was just so unbelievably mean. It's actually cruel because of how simple it was. I mean, if I break a glass object by throwing it in a fit of rage, it is not undoable even if I instantly regret it because it is one single action. But destroying video game progress is not a single button click. She had to perform multiple actions, and even after that she would have had time to think about it before saving it. Just the intention of destroying something important was so strong in her. She meticulously did this thing. To me it just shows she is heartless, and it would take a lot of effort for me to trust someone who did this. Judge, jury, and executioner. 361, AITA. I might be the asshole because I played without her, except that you told her you were going to do that, and she said fine. She only got upset because ... Honestly, I'm not sure why she got upset. It's not like the joint save file wouldn't have caught up to yours if she'd kept playing it, or if she wanted to see how the new stuff worked, she could have asked to play with the new save file, or if you could make a copy for her. But no. She just went straight to, if I can't have it immediately, you can't have it at all. If this is how she behaves when she's jealous of you over a virtual farm, that doesn't bode well for her ability to handle real-life conflict with actual stakes. I think this is one of those situations where it's not really about the video game, it's about something else. We don't know exactly what, but it does sound like GF has a fair amount of stress to deal with, working 60 hours a week and supporting her family. To be clear, I'm not condoning her behavior, I'm just saying this is about more than a video game. AITA. Stay away from people whose first reaction to being jealous of you or frustrated is to hurt you. Someone mentioned she might be overwhelmed with stress and that's why she did this, but if anything that just sets off worse alarm bells. There's going to be a lot of tough times in her life because that's life. Do you want to spend those times having to hide your stuff so she doesn't break them and praying she doesn't turn you into her punching bag? Participant 4. AITA. But your GF is a major a-hole. You sound like you have put in a lot of effort into making it possible for you and your GF to play together. Instead of being grateful, she is being so petty and hateful. She also showed you that you can't trust her with your personal belongings. If playing video games is something that triggers her so much, you guys should just play by yourselves. She needs to figure out her own problems. Participant 4. AITA. She was being petty, childish, and selfish. I love Stardew myself, and I know how much work it takes to build up a really nice farm. Destroying that just to hurt you is awful. Not the girlfriend you want. On a side note, if you like Stardew Valley, you might also like my time at Portia, where you played a builder in a lovely Ghibli-esque post-apocalyptic town with some delightful characters. I've been hyperfixating on both games. I don't know if I can do this, so please let me know if I'm not supposed to give a little update as a comment. I was able to recover my farm. Part of it at least. I want to thank Pensive Gamez and a few other awesome people that helped me recover my save file. Thanks a million. Unfortunately, it seems that she saved the game more than once, so I was only able to recover my buildings, some items and some of the money. It should be enough to buy some seeds and a couple of animals to get me going, even though I lost a lot of materials too. I think I'm going to fix my farm as much as I can tonight and then take a break from the game. Now I want to focus on my girlfriend. We spoke today and she said she was sorry again and that she wanted us to cool off and talk on Sunday, which is her day off. I have to be honest here, after reading the op and all of your responses, I don't think I could come back from something like this with somebody. I know that may sound silly to think that way over a video game, but as someone else pointed out, this took probably hours of effort to ruin something of yours. I really don't think I could look at someone I was with the same way, knowing they had such a childish, petty, vindictive mean streak like that. More for anyone else reading. Imagine Op decided to take up painting with his girlfriend. They do some paintings together, maybe take some classes. Op does a couple of paintings on his own while girlfriend was at work, with girlfriend's blessing. Op's girlfriend then comes home, sees the paintings Op did on his own, flies into a jealous rage because they look better than the ones they made together, and spends all day thoroughly and systematically destroying all of Op's paintings and supplies. Any normal person would be saying, holy shit, no, that is absolutely no, okay, get out. I honestly don't think this is very different. I don't understand how her behavior wasn't a deal breaker for you. She methodically destroyed something that made you happy, that you put lots of time and effort into, because she wanted to hurt you. Your individual game wasn't even detracting from the relationship. She was just jealous. She handled her feelings like a petulant child, immediately turning to cruelty while you were making her dinner. Then, even after a night of sleep, she had the fucking nerve to ask you to play with her. You want to stay with someone like that? You're even going to reward that behavior by quitting the harmless pastime that you enjoyed and giving her attention instead? If this is somehow the first time she's thrown such a tantrum in your 6 years together, you're setting a really unhealthy precedent. This kind of malicious behavior doesn't come out of nowhere. At best she's got some temporary unaddressed internal shit to work through. But that still doesn't mean you should give in to her. For me it would be a deal breaker. This might seem like a one-time thing for you, but since you have been together for 6 years and she can do this to you, over petty jealousy, just run for the hills. It's not about the game anymore. It's about how she thinks that hurting you will be worth it for her own feelings, and she just so casually swept it under the rug. No compensation for what she has done, and pretended that she was not in the wrong by yelling back. She said sorry, based on your update, but words are cheap. Where is the proof? Personally, if I were you and want this relationship to work out, I will delete the saved file the both of you work on without telling her because, well, a taste of her own medicine, and ask her to build you another farm from scratch, back to the standards your farm was at, as proof of sincerity. If she's not willing to do that, when she obviously spent hours to destroy your things, I think you should already know if she's the love of your life or not. I know that 6 years is a long time with many happy memories between you two, but take this incident as a sign from life that this person is very capable of hurting you, very willing to hurt you, and not apologetic about the hurt she caused. Run. You deserve better. There are a lot of mods for the game, so maybe grabbing one that lets you spawn items, money to get to the same point you were at, then uninstall them. Either way, NTA. Wow, she really put an effort into this, like, the amount of time it would take, the different steps needed, making as sure as she could you wouldn't be able to get any progress back. If she'd just deleted the save, I believe she'd done it just out of plain anger or impulse. But this was multiple hours spent just to hurt you out of spite. NTA. But now a line has been crossed because her first reaction to getting frustrated is to intentionally hurt you. The fact that now you don't wanna even play the game anymore is a clear sign she accomplished just that. I hate the break up with them trope that pops up on here and there, relationship advice, but seriously, what's gonna stop her from doing it again? That trust is gone, she screwed up, and even her apology sounds insincere because her next words of wanting to play SV with you again and acting like nothing happened instead of giving you space. What's gonna stop her with messing with any of the other games you play when there's an argument? Relationships are built on trust and respect, and the fact that she wanted to make you hurt is a clear sign of lack of respect because she doesn't see you equally. At least that's the feeling I get because you mentioned she's done petty things before in your comments. It reminds me of the story of the guy who deleted his GF's entire island in Animal Crossing because she spent too much time on it instead of talking to her like a normal adult. The choice is only yours, but just be warned that something similar may happen again. Otherwise, yeah, totally anti-AITA, and as a fellow SV farmer, may your crops prosper if you decide to play again.